Hello and welcome to another podcast of Mr. Curran's Ledger-ary tutorials. What we're going to be looking at today is in response to your extended response on your assignment, where you have to calculate and analyze three ratios, that being the gross profit ratio, the net profit ratio, and also the inventory turnover ratio. Now there's going to be 4 vodcasts going over this stuff and information, and firstly we're going to have a look at how to actually undertake what is called horizontal analysis and also vertical analysis, and also to calculate the 3 ratios that we're looking at here. So I'm going to go to a question here, and this one here is for a organisation called Ledger-ary, and as you can see here we've got cash sales, gross profit, and a number of expenses, and also a statement of financial position as well. Now horizontal analysis is conducted in your statement of profit or loss, and what it basically looks at and analyzes how much of your sales is being consumed by expenses. So we need to do this for a number of years, and in your extended response you'll be doing it for 2 years. So we're going to do horizontal analysis for 2007 and horizontal analysis for 2006. Now you'll need to quote these figures in your assignment as part of your trends and analysis. Now, in order to conduct a horizontal analysis, it's going to be looking at how much of our expenses are being consumed and eating into our sales. So in order to do that, we go to our expenses. The first one and most important one is cost of goods sold, and we divide it and then put a dollar sign here and click on your sales. Oops. Click on your sales and then press enter, and you can actually see here that our cost of goods sold as sales is being eaten up by 81% into our cost of goods sold. Okay, and then with the dollar signs you can actually drag that down, and it allows you to keep this same cell here. So we can move this across, and as you can see here, you can see that cost of goods sold has actually decreased in relation to our sales figure from the previous year. So that is a good response. So now we're going to copy this cell, and then we are going to move it down to the remaining of our expenses, and we may need to increase our decimal places here. And what this basically represents, and we're going to do that for the 2006 as well. Oops. We can see a number of variances here, so positive and negative. So for example, our rent has increased from 0.15% of total sales to 0.87. So in your net profit ratio you might want to discuss the increase in that expenditure. We can also see here that telephone has increased as well from 0.31% of total sales to 0.36, along with our wages and also salaries and interest on loan as well. So you can see here these will be the expenses that you'll be discussing that has had a negative impact on our net profit ratio. So we are then going to look at how to actually do a vertical analysis. Now, vertical analysis will actually be in your statement of profit or loss, and what it represents is a percentage decrease or increase from the previous year. So in order to do that, always start with equal, open your brackets, and we are going to take our previous year, minus it from our current year, and then divide it by the previous year as well. And you can see here that our ratio our cash at bank has gone down by 6%, because it was 1,600,000, it's now 1,500,000. So that is a decrease, which I'm going to put across here. Alternatively, you can swap these around, and you'll still get the same answer, just a negative amount, a negative decrease here. So what we can do then is we can move this down to all of our assets here, and you can see that our accounts receivable has increased, inventories has increased, which this one will be very important when you're discussing your inventory turnover, and also you can see our GST has gone down by 50% as well. So we're going to copy that, and then put that into our assets, our non-current assets, and a huge increase here for investments as well. It's got increased by 347%. And then we're going to copy these down for our liabilities, and as you can see, accounts payable is a concern for the business because it's increased by 58%. So I'm going to highlight the big items which the business should look at if they were looking at a debt ratio and also accounts receivable turnover. The main one that you are interested in here for this assignment is inventories, and also our cash at bank to some degree as well. So I'm going to highlight those two. And you would document this one in particular, inventories, in your inventory turnover. So that represents how to actually calculate and undertake a horizontal and vertical analysis. Now these figures, as I said previously, will then be replicated and discussed in your report as they represent the trends and analysis part of the analysis objective. The next thing I'm going to show you how to do is calculate all the ratios. So you'll have you need to calculate two ratios, one for 2006, one for 2007, and it is gross profit, net profit, and also return on inventories. Now your net profit ratio is your gross profit figure minus your net sales, and your net sales is represented by sales less sales returns. Okay, so we're going to do this one now. Our net profit is our net profit divided by our net sales, and our return on inventories is your cost of goods sold divided by your average inventories. So there are all of your formulas that you need to know for this assignment. Oops. Now you'll need to demonstrate your workings for the assignment as well, so I would have a spreadsheet here which goes through how to actually do it. So we're going to do gross profit now for 2007. Gross profit is in the statement of profit or loss and divided by your net sales. Now in this case, our net sales is our total sales because we don't actually have any sales returns. And then you click on the percentage sign to keep it as, I would keep it as a whole percentage. So now we're going to do 2006. And as you can see here, it has increased by 2%, which is a good sign for the business. You will also have an industry average here as well, okay, which you'll need to compare against. And say, for example, our industry average here was 30%, so in other words, what the competitors are doing. You can see here that our gross profit is lagging, so therefore that is a big concern for the business. To do our net profit, go down to your statement of financial position, net profit divided by, again, our sales, our net sales, and again put that as a percentage, transfer that across for 2006 as well. And it has increased marginally from the previous year, which is a good sign for the business. Now, to do the return on inventories, you need to calculate your average industries. And to do that, you'll need the previous years and also to do that as well. Okay, so we're going to do the average inventories for 2007. So we open your equal sign, open your brackets, current year's inventories, add the previous years, in our case it will be the 2006, close your brackets, divide that by 2 to get your average. And then we're going to do that for 2006 as well. So equals, open your brackets, current year, in this case we're doing 2006, plus, and we've got the average here from the previous year, and then we're going to divide that by 2 again. To get your return, so we go equals, go to your profit and loss statement to get your cost of goods sold, and then we're going to divide this by your average, and then decrease our decimals somewhat. Now, this represents that we're turning over our averages, our inventory, 3.5 times a year. To get it to a more meaningful amount, we are going to convert it into days. And to do that, 365 days in the year divided by, open your brackets and close your brackets over here. And as you can see here, our return on average, we'll turn over all of our averages inventories for 104 days a year. And then we're going to do it for 2006. So get 2006 cost of goods sold, divide that by your average inventories, and then convert that to days to give it a more meaningful measure for the owner. And as you can see here, our inventories are ballooned out from turning over from 51 days to 104. So you want this figure here to be as low as possible. So you can see here that we are lagging in terms of turning over our inventory, which has resulted in a number of things. First of all, our inventory is increasing, as you can see here, and also our cost of goods sold has increased as well. So they are the two relationships that you need to consider when discussing this ratio here. So our next vodcast will look at how to actually analyze the gross profit ratio. You should be able to do your net profit ratio because it was as per last term, and also look at your infographic for hints on how to actually calculate those. But in summary, your net profit will be looking at all of these other expenses which aren't cost of goods sold. Okay, so for example, as we saw using our horizontal analysis, the rent you'll be discussing, your telephone, your wages, your salaries, and also to some degree your interest on your loan. They are the big expenses that are causing our net profit to be lower than what it should be.